So we have this wonderful image in the book of Deuteronomy that is reminding us that this direction that the law has always been trying to put us in, this law that's always been trying to guide our actions, if we understand fully the mystery of who we are, we ought to be able to realize that there is something we have to look for deep inside of us that in a sense takes the place of the law. And why is that important? Because the law is always going to be for the general situation. It's always going to be something that cannot fit every conceivable situation. So to say that we are always going to be able to follow the law in every situation is to miss the point that I think the Scriptures are always trying to put before us, is the law is an important guideline, but it cannot take care of every situation. And the only thing that can take care of every situation is a loving, attentive heart that longs to do what its destiny is calling it to do. It longs to give life. That's what we're here for, to give life. Now, St. Paul, in the second reading, is also very important to listen to for this morning's readings, obviously. But one of the things he's trying to say here is that we have in this person, Christ, an incredibly important model. Someone that we look at and we see the fullness of everything. In him all fullness was pleased to dwell, he says. He says something else. He says, in him everything holds together. Now, what I think he's pointing at is that there is a way for us to know that when we look at this figure Christ, we're looking at the best clue we have as to who God is and who we are. And the most beautiful thing about this figure Christ is the way in which he has the ability to invite our imaginations to get into a place where we see this incredibly beautiful connection between humanity and divinity. Humanity and divinity are made for each other. Sometimes we think that humanity is somehow, the antithesis of divinity, and we somehow see our humanity as something broken, evil, corrupt. God is good and perfect, and so the two can't get together. Well, that's not the way it has been planned by God. Yes, a human being, can fill themselves with so many attitudes and dispositions that are the antithesis of who God is and create distance, yes. But that's not the nature of what it means to be human. It seems to me the nature of what it means to be human is found in the fullness of Christ, and what he's trying to say is that we have the capacity to participate in the indwelling power of Spirit so that we have the capacity to be in the world just as Christ was in the world. How many times did he try to say to his disciples, look, I'm giving you an example of who you are. I want you to understand that the things that I'm doing, you can do the same exact things. I'm empowering you to go out and do my ministry. I'm sending you forth. Last week we had Jesus sending out the 72. During this week, we had in one of the readings for the daily Mass the image of Jesus sending out his disciples in the apostles. And in both cases, he tells them the same thing. I want you to go into a town, and I want you to do these things. I want you to heal the sick. I want you to raise the dead. I want you to cure the lepers. I want you to expel demons. Now, that's amazing, He doesn't say, I want you to go in and establish a church by giving them the rules and the laws. I want you to set up ministries and teams of ministries, and I want everybody to go to these classes, and I want them to learn what the rules and laws are. No, he just says, I want you to go into these places and be a source of life. Cure the sick. In every situation, there's always something that's dysfunctional, that's not healthy, we're caught up always in some aspect of seeing things that's not clear, and so there's dis-ease, there's discomfort. We have the power to go into a situation and through our presence cure that sickness. To raise the dead is a little bit dramatic because that would be an extraordinary thing to do, to be able to go into morgues and bring people back. But I really think what Jesus is talking about here is not so much that as he's saying, death is an image in the Scriptures so often of a place that is not fully alive, fully alert, fully attentive, fully awake. So what he's saying by raising the dead, he's saying lift people out of their unconscious state and make them more aware, make them more conscious. Curing or healing the leper is amazing, and is an image rather of simply saying that leprosy is that image of sin that disfigures us. You know, leprosy as a disease disfigures people. You can't, it takes away their distinctive features, and there's always an interesting image to me of leprosy being like sin insofar as when we're sinning, we're not really being who we are. We become someone else. I don't know if you've ever been around somebody that does something, really something wrong, something that you wouldn't expect them to do, and all of a sudden you look at them and you say, I don't know you anymore. I don't know who you are. And then the last one is, to expel demons, and we all know the demons. But I'd like you to think that demons are all those voices, all those influences, all those things sometimes even in our culture that are grabbing at us and trying to get us to think in ways that just don't really make any sense. Trying to get us to buy into things that would make us happy when they have no real capacity to give us happiness. So we have the capacity to walk into a situation anywhere that we are, and we have been given this power to be able to do these things because we have this mysterious thing called divinity living inside of us. God is with us. He is not leaving us alone. He's not leaving us to deal with the things on our own.